Attention, this is a matter of national security. After a meteorite crashed into the New Jersey Turnpike, the following digital audio transmission from the You Watch I Listen podcast was intercepted by NASA scientists in the year 2019. The You Watch I Listen podcast is about to start. Sit down, listen close, and try not to die. The You Watch I Listen podcast starts now.
So we are headed into Week 15 of the NFL season. Only 3 weeks of football left before the playoffs. With 3 weeks to go, I am in the lead with a record of 130, 76, and 1. Josh, I flipped the records here. Josh is I fucked up.
Did you?
I fucked up writing these down because Josh is significantly behind me, and I wrote them down wrong.
So what are the records?
Josh is 7 behind me.
Uh-huh.
And you are 3 behind Josh. You gained a game on him
because
you were
lost
4
Monday.
behind.
Because I lost Monday night.
Correct. You gained a game on him, is all I know. I went 10-6 last week. You went 10-6. Josh
gotta
went
be
9-7.
Thank you, Pat Shermer.
Yeah,
I thought it was more than that.
yeah.
I can't believe that.
My mistake.
17-3 at half.
I wrote the records down wrong.
I can believe
my
it.
mistake. I apologize.
Okay, whatever.
Shout out to Jerry Recco. So Patriots are cheating again.
That's awesome.
Patriots fans are. Didn't I say on the show last week they're going to be losing at halftime and the fans are going to boo?
That's exactly
what
happened.
did they do?
That's exactly what
happened. And then their fans, we got screwed out of a call. You have no right.
So
the Patriots fans are the one fan group. I don't want to hear any fan ever complain at a ref outside of the Saints Rams last year. That was the one call where I'm like, you have a little bit of an issue.
This goes out to Steve Quaz, who me and Justin got in a very heated debate with this, right?
They have no right.
He's like, you got to get the call right. Well, how about this?
Yeah, sure they do.
There's years of calls going the Patriots' way. And
Dude,
this one fucking
the
time.
dynasty started on the fucking Tuck rule.
I know.
The Tuck rule, the bullshit. They've been getting calls going their way the whole time.
So I just want to let you know, Quaz, I don't care if you say you're a football purist. You're also a Jet fan. So when stuff bad happens
You're
to the
not a
Patriots, when the stuff happens bad to the Patriots, you
it.
say yes. Thank you,
Enjoy
sir.
it.
May I have another? You think I was happy sitting there going, go Kansas City?
And dude,
No.
also to Stephen Quaz, don't tell me that meant they would have won. No, that meant they would have gotten a touchdown.
Tied.
They would have been
would've
down
tied.
by. They would have been down by 1.
Oh, down by 1.
Then
right,
they would have
yeah.
kicked the extra point, and they've one of the worst kicking games in the NFL this year. And who's not to say they would have lost anyway? It would have maybe tied it. It would have given a higher probability of tying it. But if you are in a position for a bad ref call to help make you lose the game, you were losing every minute before that, and that's your fault.
Yeah, facts.
You don't think the refs miss holding calls on the Patriots when the Chiefs were trying to pass rush?
Dude.
All the time.
So
I don't want to hear Patriots fans ever cry about bad calls. You
Ever.
guys aren't real fans. Patriots fans did not exist before 2001. There was none outside of Boston, and there's not going to be any when Tom Brady is on another team next year.
Which is pretty likely.
Which is going to happen.
Which is pretty likely,
And then you guys are going to act like, then you're going to disappear into the woodworks like a lot of Yankee fans tend to do. Not you, Josh, but a lot they tend to do. But like your brother, when the Yankees aren't doing great, they don't look great, they don't talk about baseball.
Fuck Met fans today.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Wait, what did we do?
No,
not you. The Met fan base at large.
Everyone talking shit about the Garrett Cole. It's like, oh, you made a terrible mistake. I'm like,
it's not a terrible,
I wish we would.
It's not a terrible mistake until it's a terrible mistake.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's a crazy contract.
The Mets fans at home are just jealous.
One title because of it.
Then you're good. You're good.
Yeah, I mean, realistically,
Evan Roberts said it perfectly because people.
Ralph says the opposite. He says it needs to be at least 2, and Ralph is a baseball purist.
I disagree.
I think at 9 years, you need to win at least 20 games at least once. It's not just a title. Yeah. It's not just a title because he can get hurt.
Title.
They can still win a title, and he didn't do shit.
A title, a Cy Young. You have to have at least an 18-game win season.
He hasn't done any of those things.
No, but he could though.
That's the thing. He could.
But his last 2 years, he was dominant in the AL, so he could do it.
I want to get into a little bit of my trepidation with Garrett Cole.
Trepidation.
My biggest issues with Garrett Cole, I think he's a great pitcher. He's fantastic. He had the highest strikeout ratio in Major League Baseball history last year.
326 strikeouts last year.
With that said, pitchers that go to Houston tend to become better pitchers. Justin Verlander shit the bed his last few years in Detroit because Houston's analytical department is one of the best in baseball for pitchers specifically.
Also banging on trash cans.
I'm talking pitching specifically.
I know.
Charlie Morton reinvented himself. Colin McHugh, who was a Mets bum, became a good pitcher with the fucking Astros, left and he regressed. Charlie Morton left, went to the Rays. He finished third in Cy Young voting this year. So there is a little bit of that fear there, and he's not CeCe. CeCe was never like an overpowering pitcher. He kind of always was. He was able to finesse. He threw 95, 96. Garrett Cole, 9 years is a lot. Because not only that, like when he's in years 5, you still have 5 years left on Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah.
And no one's going to take that contract.
Well, he's also going to opt out, dude.
When you're at 5 years, well, unless he's been sucking or hurt, why would he opt out?
No,
it's a player
I know
option to
that.
opt out.
Also with a full no trade clause.
Correct.
Too.
And by the fifth year, you're going to have to pay Gleyber Torres, Aaron Judge, Andujar, Gary Sanchez. If you get one title in 5 years, great. But there's certain things Garrett Cole has to do. He has to win at least 20 games. And I don't want to say that. He has to finish with a sub-2.5 ERA, which is much harder to do in the Bronx than it is in Arizona. Yeah. So I think it's the only deal they could make. But 9 years is fucking wild.
That is a long time.
Here's the thing. If the Mets were open and signing their checks, I would hate them signing him.
Hate them.
If the Mets were a team that were spending like the Yankees, I would not want them giving out that contract personally.
For Garrett Cole.
Not any player not named Mike Trout. The fact that he's getting paid the same amount as Mike Trout.
That is a bit astronomical for 2 years of dominance.
For pitching every fifth day.
Right.
For playing every fifth day when Mike Trout plays every day.
He didn't
have like his strikeout ratio was high, but outside of that, he didn't have a historic season from a dominance perspective. He didn't even win the Cy Young.
No, 2 years in a row, DeGrom has had Hall of Fame seasons. That's
what
a little
would
bit
DeGrom
different.
get on the open market?
Jesus fucking Christ.
It's insane to think about.
People are screaming. It's like, DeGrom should fire his agent. He got 5 years, $137 million. You know what I mean? Like, that's a bargain.
It is a bargain. He still get like $25 million a year. Like he's fine with $25 million a year.
I mean, a lot of people would be fine with $25 million a year.
Cole would have been stupid not to take that number and take less from the Dodgers or the Angels.
Apparently, the Angels were nowhere near close.
They didn't even come close to $300 million. The second I saw Strasburg got 7 years, $245, I was like, I said Cole's going to get at least $285 million.
Yeah,
my buddy who's an Angels fan, Jake, he was like, no way it goes that high. I'm like, dude, he's better than Strasburg.
Yeah,
Strasburg has been better longer. Well, but my fear is Cole regressing. I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. Anytime it's a 9-year contract, I get really worried.
The thing that scares me with Garrett Cole is that he's had this run where he hasn't been hurt. He's always had 32. He's had 32 starts in 3 straight seasons, and not to mention, like I said, he had a great season last year. But it's one of those things where it's like,
there's only been one pitcher I know of that hasn't really gotten hurt much recently. It was Max Scherzer.
Until this year, and then being just an overall pessimist with sports for the most part when things are going on the opposite end, is that something's due to happen.
But
here's
the other thing: is he going to hit for them in the playoffs? They gave up an average of 3.5 runs in the postseason this past year, and they lost. That's the thing. Like he can go out there and be great. But if their big boppers don't start hitting with runners and scoring, it won't make a difference.
That was the problem in the postseason. The Yankees couldn't hit in big spots.
It wasn't bad in the postseason.
No, I'm saying they couldn't hit with runners in scoring position.
It's interesting where the team is now and how the team is run, because I can guarantee you if George was alive, not only will we have Garrett Cole, we'd be signing Anthony Rendon too.
Yeah, I'm sure you would have signed Anthony Rendon.
Anthony who?
Rendon.
I don't fucking
I like Rendon.
I just never heard it called that before.
Here's the thing. If the Wilpons were dead, the Mets would sign Anthony Rendon.
I like Rendon better.
No, that's fine.
Rendon.
But so let's hypothetically say they're in on Anthony Rendon.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
you would say yes, you want him.
Yeah,
with the way Ursula played third base.
Yeah,
this year
Ursula was good. He wasn't Anthony Rendon good.
Yeah.
Not even close.
I'm talking about that's not really an area of need, is what I'm saying. I'm saying if you could target.
Okay, yes, not an area of need, but with the Yankees and with George specifically.
With George. Oh, no, he's there. If George, he's here tomorrow.
Yeah. He's here already.
Yeah,
if George is alive. And you know what? They probably signed Donaldson and make him DH, too.
Yeah. They signed Donaldson, then they trade Andujar
just because the Mets are sniffing around Starling Marte, he's like, I'll fucking take it.
I want to say a big fuck you to Mets fans. I love Brandon Nimmo. Starling Marte is a better player. The only thing that Brandon Nimmo does better is run the first base on a walk and draw walks. He's an average hitter. He's an average outfielder with a below-average arm. Starling Marte is a 30 home run guy. He is a plus outfielder with a plus arm. Starling Marte.
How old is Starling Marte?
He's 30.
And how old is Brendan Nimmo?
He's 27. I believe 26, 27.
Now this is me personally. I would personally take the chance with Nimmo getting better because Marte is already 30 years old.
We've seen Nimmo's ceiling.
That's just me.
I think
I
we've
don't know.
seen Nimmo's ceiling, and I like Nimmo a lot. On a great team, Nimmo's a great player to have, but he ain't starting.
No, you know what I would do? Listen, and this is something interesting I heard people saying. Like, if you're going to trade Nimmo for Starling Marte, then, okay, listen, take Lowry, take Familia, then I want Chris Archer back.
No, I don't want that bum. Archer sucks.
What?
He sucks.
Then who's our fifth starter?
Lugo. I want Lugo to be the fifth starter.
I don't want to take Lugo out of the bullpen.
This is my problem with Lugo.
Was.
This is my problem with Lugo, though. He's an amazing. Yeah, but you can't use him back-to-back days. That cripples your bullpen when you have a bad bullpen.
The bullpen was crippled when there's nothing else
But,
there.
So you're talking every other day. You can't use your best reliever, and then you got to go to one of those bums more often, and then you're using the other guys less.
I'm just telling you because
Lugo has to start.
Because with the bullpen being as damaged as it is, and you're going to get rid of another arm, why wouldn't you want to keep him there?
He was a dominant reliever who had been a dominant starter. Give me the dominant starter. If he comes in and he pitches as a starter like he did as a reliever, you have a potential Cy Young winner in your rotation with Jacob deGrom.
Then that's fine. I'm just saying because we still have the giant question mark and that big dumb idiot Edwin Diaz as our closer.
We're going to have the question mark if Seth Lugo's there because he can't pitch back-to-back days. And if you pitch him 2 innings, he can't pitch for 3 days.
I'm just
saying. You literally might as well just put him on the DH for a couple days at that point.
So I've got a great idea.
Sure.
Next week we're going to do that episode after the episode.
Sure.
We should do a winter baseball update.
Okay, I'm fine.
That'd be nice
because with the winter meetings and free agency, there's going to be a lot to talk about.
There's going to be a lot of shit.
Okay, let's get into the picks now.
It's been a crazy 2 days already.
Let's get into the picks. So again, I am up on Josh by 7 games. Josh is up on Taylor by 3 games. I'm going to get ready to pick out the bottle of booze I want you guys to buy me for my winnings this year, and then we'll pick out the tattoo for the loser.
That was part of it?
Yeah, the booze.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you to get me the Slipknot whiskey. That's all I want, which is order it online.
Right.
Okay, so first game of the week, Thursday night game. It's a doozy. The New York Jets at the Baltimore Ravens. The hottest team in football, the best team in football. Although Lamar Jackson is dealing with a little bit of a quad injury, that's more than enough to play the Jets. The Jets did beat the Dolphins after, again, I hate replay on defensive pass interference, on any pass interference. It's stupid. It's dumb. It slows the game down. That was barely pass interference, but nonetheless, they won. I am not buying into Sam Darnold at all. I've seen enough of him now to understand that his ceiling is a little bit better than Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, I'll give it. You got to give it one more year with that.
Yeah, I
it's
think
just
so.
Because, again, you had this shitty mono, and then he's coming back halfway through the season. It's just, it was a very, very weird season.
Are we
for
wasting
Darnold.
a lot of time on this one? Are we all taking the Ravens?
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say the Ravens played a great game against the Bills and won, obviously. Next game is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Detroit Lions. I'm really upset with this game because I don't think Jameis Winston's going to play, and Mike Evans is out. I really want Jameis Winston to finish the season out because he can become the first player in NFL history to throw for 5,000 yards, to throw 30 touchdowns, and throw 30 interceptions. So he could potentially lead the league in yards, touchdowns, and interceptions.
Bruce Arians would not let him. Would not allow it to go that far.
So, Taylor, again, we'll let you go last. But, Josh, who are you taking in this game?
Who are they playing again?
The Lions.
Yeah, right, exactly. Facts. So
even without Winston and Evans, you're like...
I don't even like it.
I'll take the Buccaneers.
Okay, Taylor.
Then just for shits and giggles, I'll take the Lions.
Okay, I don't think that's a crazy pick.
That's not. But it's a crazy enough pick because Jameis and Mike Evans are out.
Yeah. Next game is the Philadelphia Eagles at the Washington Redskins. Eagles 4.5-point favorites on the road.
Fuck the Eagles.
Good chance to win the division still. Josh.
Give me the Eagles.
Okay, and I'm also taking the Eagles. Taylor.
Again, I got to catch up. Give me the fucking Skins, dude.
Yeah, I don't think that's a crazy pick either. But the way I see it with the Eagles, they got that win in overtime.
Yeah.
Wasn't overly impressive. It was the fucking awful Giants. But those are the kind of wins in overtime that could kind of lift up a team that's struggling.
Yeah, absolutely.
While the Cowboys have been losing in the opposite fashion.
Dude,
so it's like this past week for both the Cowboys and the Eagles, I see them both like one going up, one going down.
Yeah.
Okay, next game. This is a good game. NFC North showdown. Chicago Bears at the Green Bay Packers. Packers 4.5-point favorites at home. Packers coming off the win over the Redskins. The Bears beat the Cowboys on Thursday night. I'm going to take the Packers in this one. They beat the Bears in Soldier Field in Week 1. Very impressive defensive performance. Mitch Trubisky's been playing much better recently. The Bears have been playing much better recently. But I think in Green Bay that they're not going to be able to handle it, and he's going to regress again offensively. So give me the Packers. Josh.
Taking the Packers also.
Okay. Taylor.
It's another one. I'm going to take Chicago.
I don't think that's a crazy pick either, because the Packers, to me, besides the Cowboys, are the worst of the teams leading their divisions.
It's just one of those things where, like, even though we know Trubisky kind of stinks, like, he still has that ability
he has
to
physical ability,
open it up and, like, really score points.
Yeah.
And that defense is championship caliber.
For sure.
But it's just that offense stinks.
Next game is the New England Patriots at the Cincinnati Bengals. Patriots 9.5-point favorites on the road, to the point where they felt they had to
steal signs.
Whatever happened with that
from the Bengals.
Well, so apparently,
that's why the brilliance of Belichick is that he views the 1-12 Bengals the same way he would the Baltimore Ravens.
There's also part of me, Big Cat from Barstool actually said this, and it makes too much sense for me not to think about it. Conspiracy theory time is that he did this because the team stinks, the offense stinks.
Yeah.
Now, all anyone is talking about is like, they cheated again. Now it brings in the mentality of us against the world. Now they're going to come out and they're going to drop fucking 50 burger.
It's not wild, but I am of the belief that Tom Brady is close to done physically. Like, he does not look like the same guy at all. The ball is not coming out of the same way. His footwork isn't the same. Everything looks off. And whether it's injury, Father Time's undefeated. He's 42.
I've heard people say that the end of the Houston Texans game when they did the 2 touchdowns super quick and they almost got the onside. It's like,
sure,
he still got it. That's
I thought Bill
time.
O'Brien took the foot off the gas.
No, that's exactly what happened. Like, that's all that was.
But I think we're all going to take the Patriots in this game.
Yeah.
Are we going to waste a lot of time on it? The Bengals have been playing better. They gave the Browns a run for their money.
Joe Mixon's playing his ass off, man.
Well, again,
I feel
bad. You put a veteran like
player.
Andy Dalton behind center as opposed to a guy that a rookie that no one ever heard of. The running back's going to run better because the veteran knows how to change the calls.
Yeah.
Next game. This is a great game.
This is a very good game.
The Houston Texans coming off a devastating loss to your Broncos.
That's right.
Where they came in completely flat. Total trap game mentality. Just came in lazy, thinking they'd run through the Broncos against the Tennessee Titans, riding high on the shoulders of Ryan Tannehill, my guy, who I told you when he took over, he'd be great. 7-1 as a starter, leads the league in passer rating. If he continues at this track, he will finish with the highest passer rating in NFL history.
That's awesome.
Which is crazy. With that said, I am taking the Houston Texans because after a game like last week and the week before beating the Patriots, they're due to bounce back. While I love Tannehill, I will always root for him. This is when Tannehill has his down game, the game that they have to win to prove themselves. This is a chance for the Titans to take over the division at home, and I think the Texans are going to come out fired up. I think they're going to run the ball down their throats, and Deshaun Watson's going to have a huge game, as is DeAndre Hopkins, and I expect 1 touchdown from Kenny Stills, and it's a pick 6 thrown by Ryan Tannehill. Give me the Houston Texans. Josh.
I'm going to take the Texans as well. Derrick Henry is a little banged up. He's not out, but he's a little banged up.
And that's the big thing because Tannehill's as good as his running game goes for it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to take the Texans?
For me, I am actually going to ride and die with the Tennessee Titans. I really think that there's something special happening right now in Tennessee. I think that coaching staff, and I think that Ryan Tannehill has brought a swagger. I mean, listen, Mariota could have been a good quarterback, but he was just that super laid-back guy from Hawaii.
Yeah, for sure.
Tannehill brings that swagger, and he's bringing that explosiveness to that offense. And he's actually throwing well on the run.
Yeah, and he's not putting up otherworldly numbers, but he's efficient.
He's doing.
And he laid out an offensive lineman that picked him off that tackle this week. That was great.
That's the best hit I've seen all year.
That was great.
He's getting the ball into his receivers' hands.
Getting the ball out quickly.
Corey Davis and A.J. Brown are really benefiting from this. He's doing really, really well. And obviously, Derrick Henry finally playing as a first-round draft pick.
But if he's hurt, that's a concern.
Now, if he's banged up a little bit in this, I think because the fact there's so much on the line and Tennessee has been so mediocre for so long, I think he's going to play through that. And with that being said, I'm taking the Tennessee Titans. And actually, take one further, I'm going to take the Titans with the points.
Okay.
I'll take that minus 3.
3-point favorites. Okay, next game. Seattle Seahawks at the Carolina Panthers. The reeling Carolina Panthers. Wasting an MVP caliber season from Christian McCaffrey.
Dude, waste a week, dude.
The Seahawks coming off a really bad loss at home to the Rams. The Seahawks 6-point favorites on the road. Josh.
Yeah, you know what? I am not going to step away from my guy. My quarterback.
You really shouldn't.
My MVP. Your New York Yankees second baseman, Russell Wilson. That's a divisional game. That's a tough game.
Dude, listen.
you're
Sometimes
going to
you
lose some of those.
Yeah,
listen.
sure.
Sometimes you lay an egg like that.
And
it
the
happens.
Rams, even when they were bad with Jeff Fisher, they always beat the Seahawks when they had the
always.
Legion of Boom. It was crazy.
Yep.
Dude.
So that's not going to happen this week. I expect the Seahawks to win handedly.
Okay, and
I'm-
I'm also taking the Seahawks.
I'm
and I
gonna agree.
expect them to win big as well.
I'm going to agree with the Seahawks too. I think last week was just one of those things where listen,
aberration.
the stars aligned and everything just worked out perfectly for the Los Angeles Rams.
Okay, so you're taking the Seahawks as
Yes.
well? All right, the next game is your team, Taylor. The Denver Broncos at the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I need to read a crazy thing to you because your playoff hopes aren't dead.
I know. That's
All
the
right, so
crazy
listen
part.
to this.
They're 5-8.
This is how they make
By
the
the way,
playoffs.
before you go any farther, fuck you, Spooner. The Denver Broncos are going to have a better goddamn record than the fucking Giants.
And
fuck you.
Wait, and fuck you, Spooner, because so are the Miami Dolphins.
Yes.
I was actually, the other night, I was thinking
And
about...
possibly the Atlanta Falcons.
Well, he specifically said when he was on the show, when Kenyatta was here, that the Giants would have a better record than both the Dolphins and the Broncos. And I was thinking about that last night. I was like, I got to go pull the sound clip.
I thought of it,
and
yeah.
I'm going to make a loop of just like different pictures of him with it over and over again. All right, so this is how the Broncos make the playoffs. Denver wins out. Beating KC on the road and taking down Detroit and Oakland at home would give the Broncos an 8-8 record. 2. Texans and Titans Week 15 game cannot end in a tie. This eliminates the Broncos because at worst both teams would finish 8-7-1.
Jesus.
3. The losers of Texans-Titans in the Texans-Titans game must lose out. So whoever loses that game has to lose out.
Fuck you, Houston. Fuck you.
This puts them at 8-8, which would tie the Broncos. However, both teams would drop the tiebreaker to Denver because the Broncos beat them both.
That's awesome.
Steelers finish 0-3. This puts the Steelers at
That's not
8-8.
happening. It's not
Their
happening.
conference record would end at 6-6, losing the tiebreakers to the Broncos' 7-5 record. It keeps going.
This is
Cleveland
great.
must finish 8-8 or worse. The Broncos hold the tiebreak after beating the Browns in Week 9. Number 6. Indianapolis must finish 7-9 or worse. Colts beat the Broncos in Week 8. What if Oakland finishes 8-8? Head-to-head is a tie. Conference records are a tie. Both common games are 6-6. But Denver would win on strength of victory. Worst-case scenario, Denver still beats Oakland. 453 winning percentage versus 418. And if a winner can't be determined, they'll have a two-man sack race on consecutive Sundays until a winner's determined. That's literally what that is. But I had to at least give you a little bit of hope.
A little bit? Which scenario?
You should be picking against all the teams going forward if this plays out. So you should be picking against the Steelers every game. Let's just get into it. Denver Broncos at the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs coming off the win over the Patriots. The Broncos over the Texans. The Chiefs are 10.5-point favorites at home. Josh.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs too. I'm really impressed with Drew Lock. He's been doing some really good things, but the tape will come out. They will make adjustments, and he has to make adjustments. He's not going to keep playing at this level right away. It doesn't usually happen like that. He comes from a college system where he learned plays by them holding pictures up on the sideline. They'll figure it out. He's still going to be good, I think. I think he's going to be really good, but this is going to be the first game where there's a hiccup, and the Chiefs are going to win by 20.
I'm riding or dying. I should have taken them last week. Let's go Broncos. The future is fucking here.
No, it's not.
It's finally here. Last week you go on the road in Houston and you fucking go up 31-3 at halftime against an overrated bullshit.
wait.
Hey, shut
I
up
know
with your
where I heard it
overrated fucking
before.
quarterback. Shut
I
up.
heard it when you bought a Brock is the future T-shirt.
That's right. That's right.
I also heard it with Paxton Lynch. And Trevor
Where's
Siemian.
Hey,
And,
hey, assholes!
and
Where's your
Peyton
Super Bowl
Hillis.
trophy in the last 10 years?
Yeah, with
Where's
Peyton
yours?
Manning.
Doesn't matter. Still
no,
got one, dickhead.
wasn't
Fuck
Peyton
you.
Hillis?
Talking about you claiming every quarterback that looks decent.
No,
being the
I said
next
Peyton
guy.
Hillis. Wasn't
But
Peyton
he
Hillis on the
hasn't looked
Broncos?
decent. He's looked great.
Oh, I
He's
know,
had
he was on
5
the
touchdowns in the
Browns.
first half.
I'm saying-
combined
I'm
between
saying
both
he has,
games.
but we've-
He's right. I'm riding or dying with
Dude,
Drew
you
fucking
sound like
Lock.
Danny Dimes right now.
Shut
That's
up!
what, you sound like the Giants fans. You do.
You sound like a regular piece of shit when you go. Brian Flores was like a great coach. You're 2-10,
Overrated
dickhead.
quarterback.
3-13.
Well, my overrated quarterback is about to fucking pass your overrated executive next season.
My overrated executive, the one that won, that lost 3 Super Bowls, but then won 2 of them.
At the very end of his career, so my guy's got time.
does
That's
he?
true. That's a good point. But I'm just saying what you're saying about Drew Lock is exactly what you bash Giants fans for saying about Daniel Jones.
I didn't bash
You were
Giants
saying that
fans.
they were rushing
I
to
said
it.
Danny Dimes. I said it too.
I know, but dude, don't say the future's now until you know. Until you know.
I
You
do
don't.
know.
You
I've
said that
seen
about
it.
Paxton Lynch, Brock Osweiler, fucking Trevor Siemian. You know you did. You're 0 for 7. You're 0 for 10. You're 0. You're a 0.
Hey.
Zilch. Nothing. Gone. Gabagool. Cunt.
Your only claim to fame is your undefeated season from 60 years ago.
Sorry,
Congratulations.
okay,
Fuck
sorry that multiple teams have won Super Bowls, while only one has done it going undefeated. Sorry that we have. How many Hall of Fame quarterbacks do the Broncos have?
3.
Who? Peyton Manning doesn't count. He goes in as a Colt.
Bullshit.
He goes in as a Colt.
Then why doesn't he go to Colts training camp? He goes to Denver training camp all the
do you
fucking
really
time.
think he would go in as a Bronco?
Yeah, because he won there.
He won with Indy.
So what?
You're bullshitting
No.
now.
I'm
Who are your
listen,
Hall of Fame quarterbacks?
I'm being genuinely honest when I say this. Isn't there's a genuine rift between him and Irsay because of the way
It doesn't
everything was
matter.
handled?
That has nothing to do with it.
No,
The
I'm
voters
saying
decide
because
who
he
you
does
go in
because
as.
he's got. That's why he doesn't show up to
but
the
he
Colts.
is a Colts Hall of Fame quarterback.
Sure, whatever.
All
It
of his
doesn't matter.
numbers, the majority of them,
Doesn't
80%
matter. He
of
still
them.
won. He still won.
He did. I'm not disagreeing.
Care.
But who are your Hall of Fame quarterbacks?
Frank Tripucka, who I believe is in the
He's not in the Hall of Fame.
I could've
He's in your
sworn
Ring
he
of
was.
Honor.
He should be. And John Elway.
Yeah, we have 2, so thank you. Brian Greasy, Dan Marino. Thank you.
Oh, woo, so
Yeah,
good.
Sorry.
Yeah, good. Good. Dan Marino didn't win one. Brian Greasy won one 40 years ago.
2. He won
good.
2 in a row. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Sorry, 2 in a row.
Oh,
The
good,
same
John,
amount Elway
good, good.
won.
John did that
the
too.
same amount that he won. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
John did
Brian
that too.
Greasy,
Top 5
Brian
quarterback
Greasy
to
got
ever
in the
play the
Hall of
game.
Fame before John Elway.
Oh,
He's not a top
congratulations.
5 quarterback.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Yes, he absolutely
Top 10,
is.
yes. He's not
He's
top
a top
5.
five quarterback.
No, he's not.
Yes,
Tom
he is.
Brady, Joe Montana, Peyton Manning is over him. Matt Ryan's over him.
Nope.
No, I would take
Who'd you
Steve
say?
Young.
Who'd you just say?
Will be.
Oh, will be? No,
Matt
that's
Ryan.
not
Yeah,
true.
hell, fucking yes.
If he wins one, okay.
No, it's not.
If he wins one,
Doesn't have a
yes.
championship.
All right.
I'm not trying to be a
Steve
dick.
Young,
He doesn't have a championship.
I would take Steve Young over John Elway.
If Matt Ryan plays,
And I would take Terry Bradshaw over John Elway.
No, because he was a mobile quarterback.
And I would
before
take
Steve
Eli
Young
Manning
was, so
over
no.
him.
If Matt Ryan plays only 5 more seasons and keeps up the performance that he's had over the last 10,
He'll still lose every Super Bowl.
He'll wind up being number 3 all time.
Yeah, it doesn't
All
matter.
time.
It's not. Yeah,
Well,
that's
to be
not
fair,
better than John Elway.
He'll be behind only Drew Brees and Tom Brady.
Drew Brees is
John
better
Elway.
than Drew Brees over John Elway any day as well.
That's hard to argue.
Yeah, you
Honestly,
can't argue
that's
that.
Hard to argue.
And
I'm talking stats. I'm
John
not talking.
Elway is like, to me, he's a fringe top 5. If someone puts him in the top 5, I don't care. He's not top 3. He's not top 4. There's 4 guys above him without question for me: Brady, Peyton, Montana, Breeze.
Sure, whatever you say.
5
pal.
is a crapshoot.
Sure, whatever you say,
But
pal.
Marino was a better
anyway,
passer.
He didn't exactly
I'll
win.
put
though.
Favre above him too.
I would not put Favre above Elway.
No way.
I
Yes, I
would
would.
not.
Brett Favre threw too many
I am
interceptions,
not,
though.
I am not against that.
I understand what you're saying, but he threw too many picks.
I'll put
He's Brett Favre, dude.
And then John Elway beat him in the Super Bowl.
But he's Brett Favre,
I'll put
dude.
Joe Namath over John Elway. Now you know I'm trolling.
He asked me for my pick. I gave you my pick. Then I gave
Okay.
ridicule. Fuck you.
Next game, Dolphins and Giants. I'm gonna be there with Spooner. I have to spend 2 days in a row.
Spooner
I'm
sucks.
spending my whole weekend with Spooner. I'm gonna
Yeah.
kill myself.
Oh, poor you.
I'm not gonna be like Epstein. I'm gonna kill myself. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Dolphins because the Giants are a travesty.
They're
Janoris
bad.
Jenkins is calling people retards on Twitter.
Did he?
He called a fan retarded on Twitter, and that during team practice.
So practice was happening. He's on his phone. He calls.
He was
retarded.
injured, so he was out of practice. He was in the trainer's room, and he's tweeting the fan, "Yeah, retard."
So I feel like that.
Janoris Jenkins has been overrated his entire career. He's had like 2 good seasons.
Yeah, he had the one good season in St. Louis, and then he came here.
Yeah, and he had one
that was
decent.
it?
His first year at the Giants, he was okay, but I think the Dolphins will beat them. They're
They
a better
didn't pay him
coach
to
team.
shut down corner like they all thought he was going to.
Yeah, I know
whatever.
people argue me he's top 5. How's Leonard Williams working, guys?
He actually had a pretty good game. He didn't play bad tonight.
That was his best game of the year.
That was
But
his best game
was-
of his career.
I was told he's a dominant pass rusher. Ask me how many sacks he has this year.
What does he have? 1 maybe?
0.
2? Nah, I didn't
He
think
has
so.
5 tackles for a loss this year.
Yo,
5, and 2 of them came this week.
Ramsey Zatuche has 6 sacks this year.
Who? Yeah, and dude, and they could have signed. Leonard Williams said he wants to be paid like a top guy at his position.
He's not even a top 20 guy at his position.
He's not at all. He's a bust. He's a bust.
He's a big time bust for where he was drafted. Huge time
But
bust.
I'm going to take the Dolphins over the Giants. 2 bad teams. Give me the better coaching.
That's yeah. I mean, it's the same. There's not really much here. It's the same. I'll take the Dolphins too.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Dolphins. I'm looking for Devontae Parker to bounce back against a really bad defense because
As long as he's playing.
while knocking Ralph out of the fantasy playoffs
That's
is
awesome.
enough for me on this season. I don't need to win the championship.
Yeah.
Right.
I would like to.
Yeah, sure,
right.
sure,
Facts.
sure.
No, I was gonna say. So Quaz went to the Miami Jet game. Yeah, well, last Sunday, right? He comes back drunk. And he's like, I'm so mad. I go, what are you mad about? They won. It was an ugly win. What the fuck did you
What's
expect?
an ugly win? Aaron
Hold on,
Rodgers.
listen, you shouldn't yell at me because I at least support my team, and I understand that I'm incredibly biased. Talk to this fucking guy who's saying that, it's a bad call in the Patriots game, or it's like, it's an ugly win for the Jets, so he's mad. You won, dick. What are you fucking complaining about?
Aaron Rodgers had a comment after the game where it's like, what do you say to the critics that say all your wins have been ugly? He's like, well, I'd like to win ugly all the way to the Super Bowl. Yes,
yeah, exactly.
I'll take an ugly win any day of the week over an ugly loss.
A win's a win.
Exactly.
Who cares?
All right, next game. This is a really good one. The Buffalo Bills at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers 2-point favorites at home. Josh.
Give me the Steelers, man. Tom Coughlin.
What you got the first name right?
Tom Coughlin with a frozen face.
Mike Tomlin. You got Tom right.
There was a Tom in one of the names.
There was a Tom.
Mike Tomlin is the coach of the year.
Yeah, facts.
I agree.
Duck Hodges, bro.
I'm taking the Bills. While the Steelers won, wasn't overly impressed, and that was basically a home game for them in Arizona.
Oh, dude, did you see how many terrible towels were there? It was
it was
weird.
crazy. The Bills really impressed me in a loss to the Ravens. If not for some bad Josh Allen throws early and late,
really
they
bad.
Had a chance at winning that game. But I think the Bills match up perfectly with them, but I think they're a little bit better offensively, and I will take their offense over the Steelers' offense right now. So I will take the Steelers on the road.
I'm going to take Buffalo,
or the
too.
Bills on the road, excuse me.
I'm going to take Buffalo, too, going into Pittsburgh. I just think, like I said, like Dan said, too, they really did impress me. There were two key throws in that first half where he has John Brown running wide open down the sideline, and Josh Allen overthrows him.
Yep.
So it's one of those weird things where it's bound to happen, and I think Buffalo is proven to be contenders. Definitely not pretenders. They're just they just need to figure it out. But Buffalo's going to win this game.
All right, next game is a wash game. Jacksonville Jaguars at the Oakland Raiders. Raiders 6.5-point favorites at home. Playing a tough game against the Titans early, where it was close, and then they got blown out. With that said, I'm taking the Raiders because the Jaguars are washed. Josh?
Yeah, I'm taking the Raiders.
Every time I take Jacksonville, they stink. So this is one I'm just going to take the Raiders.
Okay. Next game, the Cleveland Browns at the Arizona Cardinals. Browns beat the Bengals last week. Cardinals lost to the Steelers. Browns 2.5-point favorites on the road. I'm going to take the Browns. Tough game to pick because they're not very good. Lots of dysfunction continuing in Cleveland with Odell Beckham. Big fucking surprise there.
He wants out.
Wants out already. Jimmy Garoppolo, he's talking to him. He wants the Cowboys, the Patriots,
apparently
the 49ers.
He's going to everyone after every game, come get me.
Yeah, but with that said, I'm going to take the Browns because their Cardinals are playing like we mostly expected them to this year. Josh?
Yeah, I'm taking the Browns here.
I'm also going to take the Browns. I just have zero faith in Kyler Murray.
Yeah. Next game, your Atlanta Falcons at the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers are 11-point favorites at home. What's weird about this game, my buddy Jeff, who you've talked to on Twitter, Elite XC,
yes.
Or Elite Level, whatever, I do think this is a trap game for the 49ers. It
is.
has a danger of being one, coming off a very emotional back-and-forth game with the Saints where they won late in the game. With that said, I'm taking the 49ers because they're just a better team.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think we had to waste much time on it.
Definitely take San Francisco. Jimmy G proved a lot of people that he can sling it with the best of them. Yep. So that's a big. I can't get over it. That was such a great game to watch, man. It really was.
Next game, Los Angeles Rams at the Dallas Cowboys. Rams beating the Seahawks. Cowboys continuing to crumble. The Rams are 1-point favorites on the road. But with that said, I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys because they got to win one of these.
They have to.
They got to. They got it. And I don't think the Rams are that good. The Rams looked like the Rams from last year for the first time last week, and to me, that's a fluke. The Cowboys got to win one of these unless they've completely quit and given up. And I have a hard time believing that with some of the character guys on that team that play their ass off. Like, I look at Dak, and Dak is a high-energy guy. Zeke's a high-energy guy. Those offensive linemen are high energy. Amari Cooper's high energy. Jason Witten's a leader. What the fuck is going on besides Jason Garrett being a bum? I got to take the Cowboys. I got to. Josh.
I'm taking the Rams.
Okay, I originally was about to pick them, and I couldn't. I had to go with the different one.
I'm also taking the Rams too. I just think alluding to what you said earlier was that the Cowboys just 100% quit on Jason Garrett. I think the writing's on the wall at this point, and if Jerry brings him back, you're just setting your team up for a bigger disaster.
He needs to win the Super Bowl to come back.
Yeah, I know that.
I don't even know if he would then. But
I'm saying
Jimmy Johnson,
dude. But like Jerry Jones, you have to see. It's so blatantly obvious what's wrong with this team.
No, I think he doesn't. He hasn't for so long because it means admitting to himself that he doesn't know as much about football as he thinks.
Well, he said that too. He did the whole. I mean, if you watch the 30 for 30, the whole thing, he took credit for the Herschel Walker trade. It was all Jimmy Johnson's idea. Yeah. So stupid.
All right, next game. I actually think this is a really good game, low key. The Minnesota Vikings at the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers bouncing back in a big way last week.
Austin Eckler had a fucking career.
Did you see
day.
the video of Phillip Rivers after throwing the 90-yard touchdown?
It's one of the silliest things, dude. If that's as bad as Phillip Rivers talks shit, that is some of the funniest shit I've ever
so
heard.
Hard. 90-yard touchdown. Don't talk shit to me like when I'm right here. It's a 90-yard touchdown. I'm going to scream all I want. That was great. I loved it.
The best is like when he picks him up and he's walking away, he's like doing like the hard strut next to him. 90-yard touchdown. Woo!
Yeah, dude, I loved it. I originally picked the Vikings
Come
here.
see me after the game. Stop being tough, dude.
The Vikings are 2.5-point favorites. I originally picked them, but this is the kind of time when the Chargers play. Oh, every year they play spoilers so well late in the year, and the Vikings have to keep up with Green Bay, and they haven't. Every time that the Packers lost, they lost as well. And when it just hasn't worked out for them, so I'm actually going to take the Chargers at home. Josh,
I'm going to take the Vikings.
Yeah, I originally picked them. I had it down here. I was like, you know what? This to me is one of those games that you could just see the Chargers. Again, they've lost every game this year by a touchdown. Like they have their record, and you are what your record says you are, but they're the best team with a losing record this year, I think.
I mean, this is the part that I get annoyed because Josh goes ahead of me because he took my fucking pick. But I mean, again, for the sake of just trying to catch up, I am going to take the Chargers. I think we're starting to see the emergence of a superstar in Austin Eckler.
Dude,
that
he
kid
had
is an animal.
212 scrimmage yards last week. I think on 7 touches.
Dude, he's absolutely incredible.
He's sick.
So good.
I mean, Melvin Gordon is great when he's healthy, but Eckler is the guy that should be getting the ball the most.
It's like
because he can do more.
You're seeing the second coming of Darren Sproles.
Yeah. Pretty much. All right, the Monday night game, I don't think we're going to spend much time on. The Indianapolis Colts at the New Orleans Saints.
1, 2, 3.
Saints.
Yeah, okay. All right, guys, so this was Week 15 in the NFL and Episode 81 of You Watch, I Listen. Again, the picks for movies this week. The movie pick was the night before. Album pick was Story of the Year, Page Avenue.
Yes.
And we will see you twats next week.
Later.
Peace.